Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is it's going to be a very short but candid video, candid meaning, straight to the point. And it's regarding armchair critics. Now, what that basically means is those that sit at home, not doing much, haven't achieved much themselves, if anything, and then they're criticizing anyone and everyone around them, whether they know them or whether they don't know them. So, it needs to be made clear. I think everyone needs to be aware of these type of people because, they're everywhere and they're a bit of a, they're a bit of a pain. They're just there. They're literally just there. And it's important that the awareness is raised that, these type of people, you best stay away from them and completely ignore them. The first thing is that, online, criticizing people online is not really going to get you anywhere, in the sense that, like, for example, myself, I look at myself. If I weren't going to ask for advice, if there was, so for example, my teacher, Sheikh Abdullah al-Jarullah, he's someone that I would definitely all day long, I would accept criticism from, like, as in, there's not even like two ways around it. I would definitely accept criticism from him. Anything he says, I would accept it open-heartedly. And the reason for that is because he's also the same person that if I ever needed advice, I'd go to him for advice, for example. And same with other individuals. I have other teachers, alhamdulillah, that I would go to them for advice. So then if they were to criticize, I would take the criticism. But then if you have a random person online that's writing comments, so this video has basically come about because of a few comments that I've received. Now, alhamdulillah, I'm a busy guy, and I'm not one of them guys that, is acting busy or just keeps telling. You get a lot of people out there, they tell themselves that they're busy, and they're telling everyone else that they're busy, but really they're not busy at all. They just don't have priorities, and they're just, wasting their time. So alhamdulillah, I am busy. It's not about whether you believe me or not, but what I'm trying to say is that, this thing has come from, I've received a few comments here and there. So I just thought, first I read it and I'm like, there's a point there. But anyways, my point is, once you get to a certain stage where you're busy in your day-to-day real life, not online, you're just stuck online and scrolling for 5 hours, every hour there's something going on, then we don't really care about comments that people make at all, and it doesn't affect us, alhamdulillah. But as I say, I think the awareness needs to be raised, hence why I'm making this video. So for example, this individual, we have no idea who he is. His name on YouTube is like Islam is best or Islam is peace or something like that, and he's writing big paragraphs criticizing. So first of all, he or she, might even be a Shia, I don't know, but he or she, they don't even have the courage to put themselves out there. They can't even give their name. So they're hiding behind their fake name, number one. And number two is, they're going back and forth on comments and writing long paragraphs, that says a lot. And this particular individual, he's talking about, number one, he's telling me put the camera down, which there may be a point there. However, the thing is, he's saying that I'm in my second year. Well, he said I'm in my first year, but I'm actually in my second year. But honestly, for me, alhamdulillah, like, my intention, inshallah, is very clear, which is that, whatever I learn, I'm just going to, I will try to, relay the knowledge back to you, because there's many people out there, they learn stuff, but then just keep it to themselves. So for me, it's not about, he's saying you're not a scholar and stuff like that. And alhamdulillah, I'll be very clear. I'm definitely not a scholar. I don't want to be a scholar. I don't want to be called anything like Ustad or Sheikh or even Qari, like Qari. This is not my intention. Allah, nas'alullah al-qabula wal-ikhlas. I hope Allah accepts. But the reason why I make a video is so that it can benefit you, inshallah. So, put the camera down. You're not a scholar. For me, that doesn't make sense, because that's not my aim anyway. And I don't think you have to be a scholar to if I learn something, then I pass it on. We should all try to do that. If you learn something good, you pass it on. This is what ilm is. You have to benefit yourself and benefit others. And then he's talking about, he's saying all students of Islamic University, they go there and, they don't study properly and they want to go into YouTube and the rest of it. Number one is each to their own. And number two is that, at least we're trying, at least we're doing something. And we don't have to be here, and I don't have to be here. Or none of the students, for example, if he's criticizing British students, they don't have to be here, but they're here, alhamdulillah. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose them to be here. And I don't know which city you're sat, but nobody knows your name, nobody knows what you've achieved. You probably haven't achieved anything, and you're criticizing students that are, intention is something else. It's not acceptable to talk about someone's intention, unless it's something that's very obvious. But anyway, so, this individual is known as an armchair critic. Why? Because he sat at home. We don't know who he is. If he was someone worthy, then, we'd accept something. But armchair critic, there's many of these out there. They will sit at home. They won't do much themselves. They sort of get a buzz, they get a vibe from criticizing others, and their whole life will be wasted. So if this is you, number one, recognize that this is a problem, because your whole life will be wasted. You'll end up criticizing. That negative trait, you're criticizing someone you don't even know. You've seen one video of them or two videos of them. This person doesn't know me. So imagine those that are close to you, when you get married, for example, constantly criticizing your wife or your husband. That's a poor trait that will definitely lead to very negative outcomes. Criticizing your parents, criticizing your children, your friends, constantly criticizing. Very, very negative, toxic life. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us, and we are protected. Hence why I can make videos like this, because, alhamdulillah, the people that I'm around, very positive. And, when you go online and you start criticizing people, it just says everything about you. It doesn't say anything about the person you're criticizing. It says everything about you. So, yeah, beware of these armchair critics. Notice them, identify them, and stay away from them. And, obviously, putting yourself online, for example, myself, obviously I've been advised that, if you put yourself online, you're going to get a bit of criticism, and it's actually like a good thing, in the sense that you try to take away whatever you can. So, for example, I'll be honest with you, between us, this long paragraph, or few paragraphs over a few messages, this individual put out there, alhamdulillah, made me try to renew my intention. I'm not saying my intention is good at all. Inshallah, Allah accept something, but it helped me in the sense that I tried to renew my intention. Another comment that I received was completely unrelated to the video, but brother, please grow your beard. I think my beard is big enough now. That individual, he might have a point. However, again, it's invalid, because nobody knows who you are. You're hiding behind a fake name at user12345, for example. And there are different rulings. I don't want to go into the different rulings, but yeah, that was an interesting, because I was sat with someone when I read that comment, so I shared it. But yeah, nas'alullah al-qubula wal-ikhlas, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept something from us, and our intentions. So I think the conclusion of this video is that there's many armchair critics out there, but they're not to be listened to. Why? Because they've got no substance, they've got no basis. They'll sit there, they'll criticize you, they'll go to the next person, they'll criticize, and not for a second they've looked at themselves and see, like, who am I? What have I done? I'm a nobody. Constantly, we should constantly ask ourselves questions, and myself as well. Like, I'm a nobody, and it's not about trying to get high. It's just about getting through life, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being pleased with us. So, nas'alullah al-qubula wal-ikhlas. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.